I'm Adrian. I'm the mechanic at Venom Motorsports, and today we're going to learn how you receive your box and how to assemble a. What's this video about? This is an ultimate go-kart. It's a 125 DC. It's a really good one. In my opinion, this one looks really nice. So right now I'm going to walk you through it step by step. What needs to be done to build it in the best possible conditions. So let's see how it goes. As the first step, we need to be very aware that we have to be prepared with tools, plenty of tools. It's not too much, but yeah, you will end up needing some. I usually start by removing that metal box. I'm also going to take out a few more screws, just so you can see well, to show you how it's done. For that, you'll need a 14mm socket and a 12mm one. I'm just going to show how to remove the first two. I'm going to pause the video for a bit so it's not just one long process. It would get boring if I took apart the whole thing on camera. You can use whatever you want to remove the cross pieces, the average ones. I like to use an impact wrench. It's really great when you've been doing this for a long time. It just makes the process a lot easier. So basically, you just remove one of the bolts. Alright, I'm going to move on to the second one. It's always important, well, for me. Right now, I'm not using any kind of protection because for this kind of work, it's a good idea to use some safety glasses so that if a piece of metal flies off, it doesn't end up in your eye or cause any harm. Sometimes, because I don't wear gloves, I've had small pieces of metal get stuck in my hand, but I just take them out myself. If that happens to me in this video, well, I'll just do the same. Okay, basically, there's not much to it. It's not very complicated to take this apart or disassemble it. So, let's see what's next. Usually, there's not even a specific order for taking this apart. So I'm going to skip ahead a bit in the video and remove all the shields and screws, so you don't have to watch that whole process. It's kind of boring and not complicated at all. And you just have to cut everything with some pliers. That's it. I think that would be the only extra step I could mention. So, removing all the screws is the same and pretty simple, but you have to be careful when taking them out, because sometimes... Okay, all cases always come very well protected with this, like the protective foam, like the packing paper, and other cushioning materials. I was saying that they always come protected, like with plastic, with bubble wrap, so they stay in the best condition possible. I just want to keep talking so there aren't any awkward silences. But anyway, moving on. So, I always get quite excited when I carefully take off the protective wrap, when I meticulously remove all the various plastics and everything. It truly excites me to finally see it. It's like, how it looks without the cover. Without it really excites me. Like when you're about to start one of these, it's kind of like, how can I put it? Like when you open a box of Legos and you just want to start building them. Basically, this counts as an unboxing. I don't know, but let's see what's inside here. Even though we've already taken off some wheels, we have 4 wheels on the 3. Here comes another one. This is the rear leather. This is the rear grille. What else is in here? Let's see. This box should have the battery. No, the battery is over there. It's that box right there. I think this one has screws, the title, and some other things. These are the control arms. These are the wishbones, and this is the steering assembly for the front part. This is the steering wheel, this is the wheel itself. Everything is really well protected, which I think is good. What else? I'm going to put this one over here with me, the last tire in the seats. This is for the LED bar for the top part. These are lights. These seats are nice. They're nice. Let's set them aside next to our boom. 250. This particular component is truly excellent, standing out as one of my absolute favorites within this intricate mechanism, specifically the gears. I'm currently uncertain whether these are the rear gears, responsible for transmitting power to the back wheels, or perhaps the front ones, which might be involved in steering or a different aspect of the drivetrain. Regardless of their precise location, their design and apparent functionality are quite impressive. Moving on, what else do we have here that catches the eye? Ah, yes, this substantial bar positioned right here. We are going to proceed with extreme caution and meticulous care as we set it down. The process will involve a deliberate and gentle lowering, ensuring it lands softly and precisely in its designated spot, preventing any potential damage or misalignment. This careful handling is paramount to maintain the integrity of the entire assembly and ensure everything fits together perfectly. And I think, well, basically this is how it looks once it's out of the package. I'm going to take this off, it's just the bare bones. Our chassis is pretty lightweight. Personally, I really like it. This particular one is exceptionally good for off-roading adventures, making it absolutely perfect for a young, adventurous kid. Brake time equals 0.5x /OK. The very next crucial step in this process is truly easy, indeed super simple to follow and execute. Here, we need to find our 10mm socket, the wrench, and we're going to remove these screws here. That way, I always like to start from the back, because I feel like when you put the suspension on, it becomes a bit more stable, and it's easier to work on. Here's my 10mm socket. Let's see what happens. Basically, I'm just going to take it apart. These are almost always secured with some nuts, also 12mm. I take them off by hand like this because they're very, because I know how to do it, but preferably. I think that's my mistake. Ideally, I should use the right tool. Well, that's the first step after removing that, or maybe the first or second step. Honestly, now I'm confused. Next, we're going to lift it up to put our support in place, and after that we'll continue with the next steps. Hopefully you can't hear all the background noise, because right now it would be a mess. Okay, the next step, preferably. I don't even know what kind of audience we're addressing with all this. I suppose it's for an adult audience, but even if it's not, everyone knows these things have to be done. With this kind of construction, these buildings, these assemblies, you have to do it with an adult, because sometimes we don't know how to use the tools and we could hurt ourselves. Okay, that's kind of a halfway step, which is why I say it's good to do it with an adult. It's a bit of a tough step because you have to lift the whole frame and then move our suspension, making sure not to damage the wiring, because we could break it and we don't want that. We don't want electrical problems. For now, I just put them in place, and the suspension too. That's how I do it on both sides. This one here has, how can I put it? It's like its own base. I don't really know how to say it. It's just right there. Well, that's where it goes. That's where it sits on the frame, on the chassis. And we just have to make sure this part here is set right. Now let's open our box. Where did we leave our box? Unboxing. Guys, babies, here comes the title. It comes with some accessories. I don't know if this is the roof, or if it's just a bag. I don't really remember, but there's something else. These are the covers for the axles of for the wheels. I wasn't even recording. These are the covers for the axles, for the wheels, for the tires. These go somewhere around here, but once the wheels are on, they come with screws. These are them. I think the ones that go in the front are for the control arm, for all that they go on the wheels, but that's for later. We'll see how to put them on. Right now, we're looking for 2 screws. If I'm not mistaken, they're silver colored and they're to put there so it holds, to support our stuff. More screws, and even more screws. Unbelievable, but anyway, that's how it is. For this video, so we can learn and see where each one goes, I think I've already found them. Although these screws are a bit thicker than the usual ones it uses. Just like everything, all around the frame, around the chassis or the structure of the Go-Kart. These are a bit bigger. We can compare them with the ones that are part of the same suspension. There are some that are already installed on the bottom part. Those come tightened from the factory. So we just need to make sure they're the same. We need to check that they're the same thickness. It doesn't matter if they're maybe a millimeter longer. That doesn't affect anything at all. The point is that the bonnet fits perfectly up here. And now I'm going to adjust the camera a bit so we can see exactly how it goes. Okay, now we're going to lift it up a little. Let's lift the chassis and make sure that when we put it in, it stays aligned, being very careful. And that's it. Now I'm going to put it at another angle, more or less around here. I think, okay, let's meticulously search for our other essential mini axle, a crucial component, and then locate the corresponding mini screw. I'm not entirely certain if I inadvertently covered the camera lens with my arm during that movement, but regardless of that minor detail, that's precisely how this particular assembly is intended to be positioned, and that's exactly how the screw is designed to be inserted into its designated slot, ensuring a secure and proper fit within the mechanism. Now comes the nut. You have the nuts, that word. Thanks, we put it here. I need to check the size of each thing. Okay. The screws are 13 millimeters or half an inch, speaking in mechanical terms. In mechanical terms, like sockets or like wrenches, I don't know. Supposedly, This video is going to be made as it goes. So we'll see what the size of the nut is. The size of the C-perch is 15 millimeters. And here I'm currently using one that's specifically 13 and enter. But here it is. This particular version is quite effective and provides a clear and concise presentation. I mean, logically, you just have to do it on the other side as well. I like to lift it. Usually, I like to lift it myself with my own hand at the back of the little cocker. It's a task I often undertake personally, ensuring it's done just right. But if you have help from an adult again, or for example, a jack that fits really well right there, inside, at the bottom, that would be perfect. I almost always use this bar here so I can support the full weight of the engine and the chassis. For me, the next step, or rather, to make everything easier and keep things more organized, is to put on the rear wheels, so I'm going to go get them now. Okay, it's me. I'm going to lift this with just one hand, and I'm going to put this car jack stand down there. Use tools, use the jack, use the hydraulic jack, whatever you want. But that's not for me, since I do this kind of thing pretty often. I like it. It feels more practical to me. I like how. Like it's faster, maybe because I'm used to it.
The chair makes a lot of noise when I roll it. Okay, let's put the wheels on. This axle, this shaft here, has a spline. It's made to fit the rift. We've got them right here. We always have to make sure the blue line is facing out, because we could put them on backwards. And well, that's not a good idea. You know, we could end up making them come off, so that's not possible. First, you always put this washer on, the one that's a bit thicker, heavier, this washer. And then you put this other one that has a sort of curve, this one's thinner, easier to bend. No, I'm definitely going to take this particular one because I'm going to carefully look for the necessary socket, the appropriate wrench, and then quickly run away. Right now, I am currently missing some of my essential tools because, well, I am actively using them somewhere else for another project, or perhaps they are simply misplaced at the moment. However, I do have the rest of my comprehensive collection of tools right here with me, readily available and organized. But I think yes, indeed, I have successfully located it. I finally found the specific item I was searching for, which is a great relief. They are precisely 24 millimeters in diameter, a consistent and exact measurement of 24 millimeters, ensuring a perfect fit and accurate dimension for their intended purpose, providing a reliable and precise standard for various applications. We don't use the spacer one. Also, remember that if you use this kind of Pitman arm puller or this type of tool, you have to be careful. Because sometimes, even some of really good quality can end up breaking the bolts, since the bolts used here are almost always metric. And the threading, or the threads, are always a bit more delicate. They have an exact torque, almost all the parts, all the components of an engine or whatever it is you want to work on. But anyway, in this case, I don't think anything will happen here. But in the future, this is actually a tip that just came to mind. But yeah, you have to be careful because we can end up breaking things, and that's never a good idea. Now, after applying a bit of torque, you have to try to find the tenor. These bolts come drilled. They have a hole that's meant for putting in a lock. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it's this thing here. It's like a wire, but a bit stiffer. If it's not easily found, it likely means that one of the corners of the nut is indeed blocking it, making it difficult to access and secure properly. So you have to try tightening it a bit more, very carefully, to see if the hole where this goes through becomes visible. I think I've found it now. Yeah, just a little bit more to go. Just a little, just a little. Done.
Listo.
Usually I do the bend with other pliers, but these are the ones I have here. Close by. I have them on hand. You just have to do this and then we put on the cover. I think I already showed you the cover. Yes, here's the cover, this one right here. So, the reason why they go in that order, specifically the washers, is that to put this on, you have to leave the bigger washer, the larger one, a bit more exposed. And the other one is so that the pressure from the nut doesn't deform it. This one here, the biggest one. So that's why it goes there. That's why it has to be in that order. And this, well, it's plastic, so there's no problem. Done. You do exactly the same procedure on the other side, but I'm not going to explain it here. I'm just going to do it.
That's very nice. Brake time equals 0.5s/.
Un poco más. No, I still need to give it a bit more. Are you tired already, or what, buddy? My guy is already tired. What is he saying? No, it doesn't have a battery, so it's out. Well, it's small. Oh no, I bent the washer. This is how the back part looks started. I think now I'll move on to the front part. I hadn't realized that. Oh, I hope the chair doesn't make too much noise. I hadn't realized that that the microphone had died a while ago and I was recording only with well, the next step. I had already set the camera here. I mean, in the front part 1. Well, you have to lower the car or the dam. I hadn't realized and I was recording this whole time with the camera's microphone. Well, not the independent one, the one that sounds good. Now, the next thing is to try, well, not try, but actually lower the car from the back, the go-kart, so it's more stable. When we lift it from the front. And there, oh no, it almost completely fell down, nearly tumbling to the ground right before my very eyes. Let's put on the steering wheel first. The steering wheel this is the one I like to put on. It's really, really, really easy. For this, I think you need a wrench. Allen key, size 6. And now, with careful precision, I have to reach out and firmly grab this particular component. And here it is, clearly visible, identified as number 6. Let's carefully move it over to this specific spot, precisely like this, so we can gain a much better angle and access to those 2 crucial screws. Subsequently, once those are addressed, these other parts we're going to carefully and systematically remove. The ultimate objective is to take it completely off in order to facilitate the proper installation onto the steering wheel assembly. If you can put a little bit of grease on the screws, it's always a good idea, but just a little so they don't go in the wrong way and then you can't. You can't really take them out again once they are in place, or you might risk causing irreparable damage to the delicate thread or even the structural integrity of the frame itself. Installing this, however, is remarkably straightforward and truly easy, since it is designed to only go in one specific direction, eliminating any guesswork. For these reasons, I genuinely believe this particular step is my absolute favorite and most satisfying part of the entire assembly process. Remember that we have some longer screws. Now we're going to use them. To put this on, you need 2 very long screws, but they're different sizes. Because everything is held in place or something flat, well, anyway, I think I'll remove the body from here. These screws here are a different size. If you look closely, they're even at the head part. Here, they're exactly the same screw. It's just that one is longer than the other, by about ½ an inch. This is easy. The short one goes on top and the longer one goes on the bottom. We just need to position our control arm. And well, this is like the swing arm. I'm not really sure what this is called. It seems more like something from a car, so I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly. If a screw doesn't want to go in smoothly, you can give it a few light taps. But if you have to hit it harder, It's better to look for another option, since you could damage your screw in the future. Or simply, when you try to put the nut on, maybe it won't fit anymore or something could go wrong. Okay, now let's move on to the one below. For that, you use the other, slightly longer screw.
Yeah.
And this one goes here, up here. I think it also takes one similar to the one in the back, exactly the same. Could it be? Let's see if this flash can help us. No. I think all three of these use the same nut. It's just that this one is 13 millimeters and the ones below are 12. The nuts are 15. So let's look for the total expression. I genuinely think it would be quite pleasant and significantly enhance the overall atmosphere to have some background music playing. For instance, I'm not entirely sure, but it seems like this particular item is indeed the 13th in a sequential series, and we are conspicuously missing the crucial 12th item from this collection, which creates a noticeable gap. The initial measurement precisely indicates a length of 15 millimeters, while the subsequent measurement accurately shows a length of 13 millimeters. I think you've already seen this one in the suspension. In the back, specifically regarding the rear dimensions, the 13 millimeters measurement and the 15 millimeters measurement are observed to be exactly the same, indicating a consistent characteristic of 2 points. Furthermore, the 12 measurement also aligns with this pattern, reinforcing the uniformity found in these particular dimensions at the rear of the subject. This consistency across the 13 millimeters, 15 millimeters, and 12 millimeters values in the back is a notable aspect of its design and configuration. Actually, there are a lot of people who feel that this kind of work is difficult. Personally, I feel that, well, I think that's it. I said it at the beginning. This is like building a really big Lego set. The funny part is, it's more fun for me. Done mounting it for the control arm for where the steering is. These parts go here. This one usually comes already in its position, just like it is. You just have to put it in place and turn it, and it will tighten. You won't need anything else. This will be completely aligned. Just like it comes, the nut here also has it. Does it have this here? You don't have to move it. It has access. It has its space and everything. The moment you put it in, it's going to stay just like this, in this exact position. Our wheel will already be aligned. And if we move it, then we'll have to align our tire again. I'm just going to do this until it gets there. That's it.
And then I'm going to tighten this one. That's how it's going to stay for now. So I think this is a 17 millimeters. I'm going to take it off. Hey, what a party.
This particular situation, which we are currently observing, presents a unique and interesting set of circumstances that warrant further detailed examination and consideration.
There's no problem if we hit it with something like a screwdriver or, I don't know, something that can't damage the inside of this. Nothing will happen. But if you hit it with a hammer or something a bit stronger, this part here could get damaged, and we definitely don't want that. We wouldn't be able to go out anymore, so we need to be a little careful. Thank you. So, for the screws, you absolutely need to find a suitable bushing. Apparently, this particular one doesn't come equipped with one, so nothing really fits perfectly. And the nut, I'm being very careful not to make a mistake with the washer. I mean specifically the lock washer. So, it's highly recommended, if you happen to have one in this precise size, to definitely use it for added security. I personally have several different ones, but I think none of them truly match the exact size of this specific axle here, so I'm just going to put it on like this for now. For optimal safety, it's always much better to have it, to put the other one on, but in this particular case, I'm quite sure nothing will get lost or come loose because that's precisely what our safety clip is designed for, that small, crucial piece of metal. The cotter pin that was previously put on the rear wheels, we can effectively put it here as well. So, this essential component makes sure the nut won't come loose under any circumstances. In the same precise way, we tighten it, giving it a good amount of torque, but you absolutely don't need to put too much excessive pressure on it, because you could potentially damage the threads or the component itself. So, that's good enough for a secure fit. Then we carefully put on the safety clip, bend it securely into place, and that's it. It should ideally stay there forever, or at the very least until the specific day you eventually need to take it off for maintenance or replacement. And it's quite simple. Since this particular model doesn't utilize a front brake system, it's really quite easy to assemble. You just carefully put the wheel on and it's immediately ready for use. After that, you'll proceed to put on the fenders, and they specifically use this particular nut in this corresponding washer, and I think that's essentially it for the main assembly. I don't think it needs anything else beyond these components. I initially think this is a 3/4 or perhaps a 19 millimeter, but I definitely need to double check because it looks a little bit larger than that. No, I'm actually lying. This is clearly a 21. A 21 millimeter, done. Here you also carefully put the cap on, just like you did on the back wheel. I don't know if the chair sounds bad on the recording. I sincerely hope not. In the end, hopefully they can effectively edit it for us, making it sound much smoother and more professional. And that's precisely how the wheel looks once it's fully installed. How incredibly nice. It looks really, really nice and secure. Now, I am going to meticulously perform the exact same procedure on the opposite side of this assembly. However, this particular time, I will not be providing explicit step-by-step instructions or any detailed guidance whatsoever. There is absolutely no need for me to redundantly repeat the identical information that has already been conveyed. We are simply going to execute this process at a much quicker pace, as it is, in essence, the very same fundamental operation. Furthermore, since the underlying process remains entirely consistent, there is genuinely nothing novel or unfamiliar to introduce. For my specific setup, this involves precisely 3 distinct screws that need to be addressed. But before embarking on that, before commencing any work on the next side of this intricate mechanism, this particular model we currently have right here, you must handle it with considerable swiftness and efficiency. I believe that as a 14mm wrench, a tool I specifically choose and consistently utilize because it proves to be significantly more practical and considerably faster for this task. I think you might also be able to use a 15mm wrench here, but I cannot precisely recall at this moment. We proceed to tighten it securely, and on the other side as well. Oh, good heavens, I completely forgot that one particular screw was left-handed. Normally, you would invariably tighten them in the completely opposite direction, but since the control arm is ingeniously designed to both open and close, they are equipped with a right-hand thread and, conversely, a left-hand thread, and that is precisely the reason for this unique configuration. Now, let us proceed with this task. Now, let us diligently work on the other side, and with that, the video concludes right here. I will not be continuing to record anything further beyond this point. These products invariably come accompanied by a comprehensive manual, so in the event that you do not utilize this video as your primary guide, the manual itself is quite complete and exceptionally helpful. It is truly great. The very first time I personally assembled one of these units, I diligently followed the provided instructions, and they genuinely assisted me immensely. Oh no. Oh, it appears as though it has unfortunately broken. Yeah.
What's going on?
What the fuck? What in the actual, absolute fuck? Hey, on this particular side, it has indeed come into existence, manifesting itself with undeniable clarity and certainty. The arrival of the subject in question has been definitively confirmed, establishing its presence without any room for doubt, ambiguity, or dispute. This specific aspect, which is precisely located on the designated side, has now materialized completely, indicating a successful and thorough realization of its intended purpose or its anticipated arrival. The observation unequivocally confirms that the item, entity, or concept that was being referred to has appeared, making its presence known and verifiable to all. There is absolutely no ambiguity regarding its manifestation. It has arrived and is now present for everyone to perceive, acknowledge, and confirm. This confirmation pertains specifically and exclusively to the designated side, ensuring that the focus remains entirely on this particular area of interest. The entire process of its arrival has concluded, and the outcome is a clear, distinct, and undeniable presence, leaving absolutely no uncertainty about its materialization or its current existence in this specific location. The emphatic statement that it did come serves to highlight the absolute certainty and the complete finality of this event, underscoring that the expected or anticipated arrival has, without a doubt, occurred, thereby fulfilling all necessary conditions for its manifestation on this side. Furthermore, the initial interjection "hey" serves to draw attention to this significant observation, while the concluding "no" could imply a correction or a strong affirmation of the preceding statement, reinforcing the certainty of the arrival on this specific side.
No. No, not at all.
If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us create more videos for you. Don't miss out on future uploads. Hit that subscribe button now.
It's done. Alright, so the front part is done now. Now I'm going to tighten this one here. We should tighten it right away. And now that one over there, that's the governor, a crucial component designed to meticulously regulate the precise flow of gas to the engine. This intricate mechanism ensures optimal performance and prevents the engine from over-revving or stalling. We need to carefully adjust it, so we're going to gently push it in a little, perhaps just a few millimeters, to achieve the desired setting. I believe the specific measurement for this adjustment is around 14 millimeters, a standard size for this type of component. Okay, I'm going to carefully loosen the securing nut a bit, just enough to allow for movement, then meticulously take the nut off all the way, ensuring not to lose any small parts. And now, with the nut completely removed, I'm going to precisely put it back in its proper position, making sure it's perfectly aligned. Done. Now, this part, the governor, needs to go all the way down, fully seated, to ensure proper functionality and a secure fit. Nice. We definitely don't want our go-kart to go too slow, as that would hinder the thrill and excitement of the ride. However, there are indeed times when we might desire a slower pace, perhaps for safety or for navigating tight turns, so we can conveniently adjust it a bit there, offering flexibility and speed control. Now, I think it's an excellent idea, a logical next step in our assembly process, to put the seat on. Let's proceed to carefully put the seat on, ensuring it's positioned correctly. Okay, this particular seat is designed with 4 robust screws, or more accurately, 4 sturdy bolts, which are essential for securely fastening it to the go-kart frame. And conveniently, there are 4 corresponding holes precisely drilled here on the chassis, perfectly aligned for these bolts. It's a very simple process, super easy to put on, requiring minimal effort and no specialized tools. We just carefully insert the bolts into the designated holes. That's it, a straightforward and easy task, resulting in a nice, secure attachment. In a little while, we'll meticulously adjust the seatbelt, ensuring it's snug and safe for the driver. But for now, our immediate focus is to adjust the seat itself, making sure it's comfortable and properly positioned. There we go, the seat is now securely in place. Now, as a humorous aside, I'm going to imagine putting my bed, my incredibly comfortable king-size bed right here, the ultimate king size for maximum relaxation. I'm going to bring a soft pillow and my cozy pajamas right away, just in case I need a quick nap after all this hard work. Now, let's proceed to put the sounds from the bottom part, integrating the audio components into the lower section of the go-kart. This step is easy, very easy, requiring careful connection of the wires and speakers. I think I'm going to have to lower the phone a bit more to get a better angle and capture all the intricate details of this final assembly stage. Or not. Yeah, I think it's better if I take it off from here. Here we have the seat screws, which are essential components for securely attaching the seat. These particular screws utilize nuts for fastening, ensuring a firm and stable connection. It's worth noting that, in some cases, these screws might come without accompanying washers. However, even if they are not initially included, you can certainly add washers during installation, as this will not pose any problem and can even enhance the stability of the connection. We are going to proceed with installing a total of 4 of these screws. One will be placed here, in this specific location, and the remaining 3 will be positioned over there, in their designated spots. These screws are precisely 13 millimeters in size, which means we will need to use our 13mm socket to properly tighten them. This ensures a secure and accurate fit. Thank you for your attention to these details. Yeah, it looks really good with the seat, providing a cohesive and aesthetically pleasing appearance. If you absolutely have to leave it, it just looks significantly better and more integrated with the other meticulously designed parts of the assembly. When it's all carefully put together, the entire structure looks exceptionally nice and complete, truly enhancing the overall visual appeal. Now, I think I'm definitely going to put this on the sturdy tripod, as I believe it's an opportune and excellent time. Yes, it's indeed a very good and convenient time to carefully put on the outer bars. I'm not entirely sure what the precise technical name for those specific components is, but basically, they are like the protective guards that go all the way around the perimeter, more or less, offering an essential layer of protection. These particular components use some specific screws, so let's carefully examine and see which exact ones they meticulously need for proper attachment. I'll leave it at that for now, as we'll address the specific screw selection in more detail shortly. Alright, okie dokie, let's proceed with the next step. These components have a small, precisely engineered bracket, which is essentially a special, custom fabricated metal piece that securely holds the reflectors in their designated positions. I think it's a very good and highly practical idea to carefully put those on now, at this stage, so we don't inadvertently forget to attach them later on or overlook them completely, which could be problematic. These specific pieces look exactly like this. Well, these are indeed the actual pieces themselves, but they are noticeably and quite unfortunately really dirty and grimy, requiring a thorough cleaning. Anyway, this particular one uses some screws that are a bit different from the others, or perhaps they are similar in design but noticeably thinner in their diameter. It comes with this, specifically with this particular type of screw. In fact, it comes with these three distinct types of screws, each serving a unique purpose. But here, in this very specific and crucial part of the assembly, we're going to use this one that's a bit longer than the others, because it perfectly goes with this unique washer that's kind of curvy, or more accurately described as curved, or perhaps even bent in a specific way. I'm not entirely sure how to precisely articulate its exact shape, but it's distinctly non-flat. And you just carefully put it here, ensuring it's properly seated. This is a 10mm, well, the socket that fits it perfectly is a 10mm size. See? It looks like the threading got a little stuck here, but that's absolutely alright and perfectly normal. Perhaps it sticks out a bit from the tube here, but that's completely normal and expected. It's because we're going to put on this entire, crucial part right here, and we're also going to securely put bolts here to fasten it. I'm not going to put another washer in the back or another nut in the back, because this very same bar here inherently acts as a washer, so there's absolutely no point in adding another one. It's simply not necessary at all. These clean nuts require the use of this specific wrench, which is a 13mm size, but we're not going to tighten them all the way down just yet.
I'm just going to adjust it a little bit to demonstrate as an example, but it still needs to remain a bit loose to allow for a little bit of play and movement. This is crucial because if we tighten everything at once, well, more precisely, if we tighten everything completely before assembling it entirely, it might end up being a bit crooked or misaligned, and then we won't be able to easily fix or correct it later. Up here, there are other essential parts located in the corner, such as another tube that extends across, and in the back there are a few more additional components. So if we tighten them prematurely, sometimes they can end up in a bad or awkward position, making it impossible for us to install the rest of the components properly. So it's definitely better to do it this way, ensuring everything aligns correctly. Okay or not okay, it's a bit more.
For this one, we're going to use these same screws. It's exactly the same as the one that goes at the beginning. Don't forget to put one in. But just so you know, I'll put it in again right now. Sometimes we'll have to drill a little bit.
This particular sponge right here, the one that is specifically designed to cover the tube, is what we are focusing on. However, it's important to note that its presence or absence doesn't significantly impact the overall difficulty of the task at hand. It's not really that hard to do, thankfully. We are now going to carefully place the very first one of these components right here. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized I completely forgot something absolutely crucial and incredibly important, this specific item. These components also require the addition of some washers, just as we did with previous parts. They specifically utilize these uniquely curved ones, the ones that are distinctly bent in this particular manner. So let's proceed to meticulously put them on now. I completely slipped my mind earlier. Remember, and this is a vital point, we are not going to fully tighten them down just yet, not at this precise moment. We still need to patiently wait a little bit longer to carefully observe and confirm if they are aligned correctly and look exactly right in their intended positions. Now, let's move on to putting on the ones that belong in the back. That is the specific component that is designed to go into the rear part of the assembly. So let's carefully and precisely put it on here, ensuring it fits perfectly. This one also uses exactly the same ones. The same washer, exactly like the other one, just without the lights. And I want to see what the style of the videos is going to be like. In 6 months, the background will look nicer and all that. Now I'm going to put on another piece of the frame. I'm not sure which one. I'll put the one here. We're going to put this one on the parts of. And it's also going to be connected to the chassis. It's not the chassis, that's another frame. Well, it's another piece of the frame, but I don't know what it's called.
Oh, actually, my bad. This one doesn't go here. Look in front. See this one over here that I'm thinking of? This one goes on the inside.
That's why you shouldn't put it on yet. You shouldn't tighten the screws yet. Abort. Mission aborted. Thank you. It should look more or less like this, but I'm going to adjust it again right now. The good thing is I didn't put any screws in the back part, so it's flexible, and well, let's put the screws in now. Hello there. I sincerely hope that in my previous actions or contributions, I have not inadvertently caused any disruption, confusion, or introduced any errors whatsoever. My intention is always to be helpful and precise. Furthermore, I am now proceeding to meticulously integrate and incorporate the previously omitted or absent segment, ensuring that the complete and accurate information is presented without any further delay or oversight. This addition is crucial for the comprehensive understanding and integrity of the overall content, and I am committed to making sure it fits seamlessly and correctly within the existing framework. From there, like the rear rack, it's like a rear grille. But I think it's a better idea to take advantage of the free space we have here right now to put in the battery. Because if we put the other part on, it's going to be a bit more complicated, screws could fall, and we don't want to deal with that. Okay, here we go. For this, let's put on some gloves. Let's put our gloves on. Okay, well, I usually always put them on. Or it's recommended to use them when we're going to add the acid, because acid is a toxic chemical, so we don't want it to come into contact with our skin and all that. Similarly, if you're going to work, you shouldn't wear your best clothes, your fanciest clothes, because then, well, they could get ruined. This basically goes like this, in this way. You just have to give it one. I think 2 taps should be enough, but make them a bit firm, or just one. This black part here is for that. We can use this. We're going to use it to let the acid breathe, because sometimes it can come with a bit of excess. So you have to handle this carefully. You should try to do this on a surface where there won't be any issues in case the acid spills. Because sometimes these have a little more acid than necessary, so they come with a bit extra, and we don't want that to spill onto any furniture that's there. Especially if it's something truly nice that's being carefully used, something that is in absolutely good condition, because it would undoubtedly get completely ruined. So now, we are going to patiently wait. We are going to wait for a little while. So, please clear the entire area thoroughly so there won't be any potential problems at all.
I think everything is perfectly fine.
In case, for some unforeseen reason, battery acid, which is a highly corrosive substance, accidentally gets on your skin, it is absolutely crucial that you react immediately and run quickly to the nearest bathroom or a water source and thoroughly wash it off with plenty of water for at least 15 to 20 minutes. If you neglect to remove it promptly and leave it on your skin, it will cause severe chemical burns, leading to significant pain and potential tissue damage, and we certainly do not want you to experience any harm or injury whatsoever. We prioritize everyone's safety and well-being here, so you know, the same principle applies to this particular component. That's the protective seal on our battery, designed to contain the internal components and prevent leaks, and we can demonstrate its durability by hitting it with the screwdriver, showcasing its robust construction. This is absolutely all set and completely ready to proceed. Everything has been meticulously prepared and thoroughly checked, ensuring that all components are in their proper place and fully operational. We are now in a state of complete readiness, poised and prepared for the next steps to commence without any further delay.
This battery, well, we just have to leave it there for about 5 minutes so it activates.
And now we put it over there.
Again. But since I have the camera, well, 5 minutes will pass, but it'll be less here.
Now let's find our positive and our negative. Red is positive. Black is negative.
Negative.
We're also going to have to use our nuts. Are they visible? Yes, they're visible. We grab the red one. We put our nut here. I do it this way so it's easier to put on. I do it like this. I hold it this way. I put the screw on the cable and then I put it here.
And I screw it in.
And that's it.
Ta-da!
And on the other side, it is indeed the same situation, mirroring the conditions we have just observed and analyzed. This consistency across both aspects or perspectives confirms our initial hypothesis and simplifies the overall understanding of the matter at hand. Therefore, after careful consideration and a thorough review of all the contributing factors, I have come to the conclusion that, at this precise moment, it is an exceptionally good and well-founded idea to proceed with the proposed course of action. This decision is based on the clear evidence of symmetry and the logical progression of our observations, making the current approach highly advantageous and strategically sound for achieving our objectives.
In order to properly and securely put this component on, this particular piece of the assembly is the one that goes next in the sequence of operations. Does it go like this, here?
Okay, that's really nice. I genuinely like how it's progressing. It truly looks good. I believe it's now the opportune moment to carefully put in the screws.
Let's carefully put this particular screw in place, along with its corresponding washer and the secure nut.
And I think these are going to be shorter, because there isn't another fitting they need to reach.
So, because the ones on top, the tubes on top have their own threads, and they can.
And well, you just have to screw this in. Just pass it through and put on the nut.
It's good on the other side.
Now these are shorter. On this side there's a base here, this one right here, which is kind of an extra.
That's the support for the back part, for the river. We need to put this one on right away.
Like this. So we put on the nut. You have to do this all the way around. But I'm just going to show one side now since you already know. I mean, it's not really necessary to give instructions twice. Or maybe it is. There are people who might not get it, right?
But on that side, I'm taking a bit more time than on the other. So,
I think after putting this one on, you just repeat the same process on the other side.
and after finishing all the screws I just showed you, you have to tighten everything together. All of them, bam, 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 bam. That way it all gets compacted and stays in one, like in one position. I think that's the right word.
What else? That's it.
I think this hole here is a bit smaller.
I'm going to try to carefully open it, but without causing any damage to the delicate thread. Slowly and deliberately, there it is, finally. I still need to meticulously do the front part as well. Alright, now we're going to carefully put on the other piece, the other book, ensuring it fits perfectly into place.
So that the other piece of ground.
To properly and securely affix the reflector, it is essential to understand the precise method of installation. The reflector, a crucial safety component designed to enhance visibility, must be positioned in a particular orientation to function effectively. This involves carefully aligning it with the designated mounting points and ensuring it is firmly attached, preventing any accidental dislodgement during use. The correct placement of the reflector is paramount for its intended purpose, which is to reflect light back to its source, thereby making the object more conspicuous in low light conditions. Therefore, meticulous attention to detail during the attachment process is absolutely vital to guarantee both its stability and its optimal performance in enhancing safety.
Well, I like it. Now, the reflectors, both in the front, on the sides, and on the sides. The ones that go on the sides are the orange ones. In the front, it only has one, which is white.
So, we put these right there.
They use 2 number 10 nuts.
Actually, no, just one. Just one number 10 nut. Like this one, that's the reflector. And well, we put it here.
Ten.
and the others are with 13 millimeter, all the nuts and the bolts. The bolts will use a 13 for the nut and a 10 on the other side.
On the other one.
But we meticulously tighten it, ensuring a secure and firm grip, and then we diligently keep going, persevering through the process with unwavering determination, and finally, with great satisfaction, there it is, perfectly in place, and indeed, there it is, the successful culmination of our efforts.
Oh, no, it's been perfectly fine for me, and now it continues to be exactly the same. Basically, the microphone, in its current design, never provides any kind of warning or indication whatsoever when it is critically running out of battery power, which can be incredibly inconvenient and frustrating for users who rely on it for important recordings
Or communications.
So, well, let's see. Hopefully you can hear it again now, because I think before we started, this video had a different audio.
I think it's going to sound a bit mixed. Well, actually, that's definitely going to happen. But, well, sometimes that's just how it goes. That's life.
On this side, we just need to.
We need to tighten everything well, and I think that after this, before starting with the electrical system, it would be a good idea to get the doors, like the fenders and everything else that needs to be installed, especially the parts that require a bit more torque, since this part isn't really that involved.
It's not really that tricky or complicated to do, because there are only these wheels to this other one here, and it is there. You just have to organize this one well.
Then we're also going to put in the tank. I think we're going to do all of this first and leave it electrically for the next good place. I'm missing a bar on this side, but I'm going to put it in.
Ready. Wait.
From here,
Yes, I honestly don't fully comprehend or understand why, but I genuinely feel as though I am a little bit, perhaps even significantly, screwed up or disoriented in some fundamental way. However, despite this perplexing sensation and any challenges it may present, it is absolutely crucial and imperative that we consistently and diligently remember certain key aspects, principles, or lessons that are vital for our understanding and progression.
These specific dimensions, measuring 10 millimeters and 13 millimeters respectively, are crucial for the precise fit and function of the components in question. The 10 millimeter measurement refers to one particular aspect, perhaps a width or a diameter, while the 13 millimeter measurement pertains to another distinct dimension, such as a length or a depth. These precise figures are essential for ensuring accuracy and compatibility within the overall design or assembly. Therefore, understanding that these are indeed 10 millimeters and 13 millimeters is fundamental to the successful completion of this task or project.
I think then we're going to put the gas in the gas tank.
This tank is always placed in this position. The base of the hose always has to face forward, so we put this one here. But these are a little different. Well, they're not really different. It's just that they have these flat washers and this bolt, which is the same as this one. But maybe it's a little longer, you could say. We put this one like this, but that's not the whole process. We're going to use these, which are like rubber grommets, and we're going to put them here under the tank so it doesn't make contact. Metal on metal, because if not, they'll end up getting loose and making a lot of noise. And well, it could be dangerous. Also, if another gas tank isn't properly secured, it could cause an accident in the future. So, this is for the safety of the tank, well, of the car and the person operating it. So like this, we put the nut underneath, and this is repeated 4 times. This tank has 4 holes for putting in screws. Let's put it in. If I want to have music in the background because I use my headphones and I get distracted, haha, I'm going to buy a speaker. We do the same thing. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. The last 2 items we currently have available in our inventory are precisely this particular size, and regrettably, we do not possess any more of the highly sought-after gold-colored ones. Specifically, these remaining pieces measure 13 millimeters and 10 millimeters respectively, offering a clear indication of their precise dimensions. Remember, you don't tighten this too much, not too much. Well, don't over-tighten it. Because since it's a surface that's making contact with rubber, with a plastic part, that plastic part can break. And we don't want that. As soon as it feels a bit more secure, or just when this already feels firm, that's good enough. Okay, now we're going to connect the gas tank to the carburetor. Let's see how the hoses go. The little hoses.
Let's take a moment to see if it's clearly visible or not. I think that looks pretty good right there, actually.
Okay, so here we have our valve or our shut-off valve to regulate the gasoline to stop it or to let it flow. This is the choke. This always has to be in this position, as long as the bike, well, the go-kart is cold. Once after 5 minutes or 10 minutes or maybe less, I don't know, whenever it reaches the right temperature, it could be within that time frame, from 2 minutes to 10 minutes. Then you need to lower it so it runs normally. This is for when it's cold, and this is for when it's hot, okay? This hose, this is the one that goes directly here to
to the gas tank of the carburetor. It's very easy to put on. You just press it, put it in place, and here's the lock. This is the clip so it doesn't come off, and also to seal it so that no fluid escapes, so the gasoline doesn't leak out. And this other hose is the one that goes directly to the gas tank. It's the one that's connected. I think you can kind of see where it goes. Here it is. This right here. It's not focusing. Let me, oh yeah, here. Look. And that's how it looks. This might look a little crazy, but honestly, the position doesn't really matter. This one goes to the fuel filter. From the fuel filter, it goes to the carburetor. Well, I think we're all set with the rear part. Now I think the last two steps we need to do are make our electrical connections and put on the fenders. The fenders, here they have. Here's the base to put them on. I got the hiccups. These right here.
And I'm going to look for them, and right now we'll see which one it is. We'll see how to put them on.
Okay. So this is the rear fender. This one is a bit different, the 4. Well, a bit different from the front part. To know which side is right and which is wrong, it's like this. The back part is always kind of a little curvy, a bit curved, and the front has, like, a different shape. This one goes here. It goes directly on the base I showed you a moment ago. And for this, you only use 2 8mm screws and 2 nuts for 10mm.
Here, when I mention millimeters, I'm not talking about the thickness of the threading or anything, but about the tool that's going to be used.
So, these come with a special kind of plastic, which is so that, well, they're called lock nuts, so that with vibration, they don't come loose. I want to go right now. Oh, okay. I put them together like this, but if you want to do it your own way, go ahead. Here's the 8mm one. And where's the 10? I lost the 10. Oh no. Oh no. And here's the 10. Also, you shouldn't torque these too much, because they're very fragile screws, they're very thin, so they can break too. And that's it. This process is exactly the same for all 4. Right now I'm going to show how the front part is done. There he is.
In that part, more or less. I don't know if you saw my finger. This is where it goes. In the front one, it's the same. These two bolts go out. The curvy side faces back.
Like this and like this, okay? Oh yeah.
For this one, I like to use them. It's the exact same bolts and everything, but I use them the other way around.
I use a 10mm socket and an 8mm wrench to make it easier to put them in, to make it easier to screw them in, because here, well, the drill doesn't fit in this position, or rather because of the shape of the fender. So, either the fender or the splash guard. Splash guard. Okay. There. I use this particular 10mm one on the other side, right over here, and it's 8mm. Oh, ouch, that hurts. This particular part is a little bit, like a bit, quite tight in the very back, but we will certainly fix it right now, without any further delay. I think I have a thinner socket, so it won't be such a hassle. So it won't be too much trouble. What the fuck? MMM? Well, it's a bit tight, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, it's doable. You can work with it. So, basically, this is how it looks with both fenders on and the whole frame. Right now, on the vehicle, we're going to put on the reflector. Everything. On the other side, it looks a bit emptier. But it's nice. This one is nice. It's nice. I think... I know what's next. Let's get the seat belts, the belts in place. Can you pass your belt? These belts aren't hard to set up at all, since it's A. You just have to disconnect them. Everyone knows how to disconnect this. So we put it through here, through this part, using one of the seat's holes, and the other side, we pass it down here. This part is hollow. through the back right here, you can see it. That's where the other one is, the other part. You just pass it through the middle of the seats from the back, and that's it. Simple. Oh, indeed. Done. Something happened. Magic. I already put on both fenders, but, well, we already know how to put them on anyway. Now, electrical system. We're going to.
This is going to be simple. I think we'll start from the top.
For this, we need a lot of zip ties, a lot of cable ties. And, well, not that many, but it's good to have a few just in case. I'm going to tighten this thing. And that's it. Here in this part, this is where I like to start. For me, it's easier to organize all this once the flour is free. One moment. Noisy guy. That man makes a lot of noise. Well, anyway, they're going to edit this video, so I don't know if they'll show the bloopers, but oh well. Oh, okay, so what I like is to start from up here. Simple. We just put a zip tie here, one right here. You don't want to tighten them too much, because we could also damage our wiring. So, well, it doesn't matter if the zip tie is tight. Just don't pull the cables too much, because in any motorcycle, any car, whatever, they're always a bit delicate. Okay, we'll put this one here. And I'm going to put this one like this, right next to this dummy. I'm trying to work, and it's making a ton of noise. Why? What? Are you looking for your? What are you looking for right there? Okay, so I'll put this one here. I like to put them a bit. Put all these a bit more on the inside. Since it looks a bit cleaner, it doesn't look like all the wiring, all the cables, just hanging outside. So I feel like, well, in my opinion, everyone can do it however they want. But, at least this is how I do it so it looks nicer. Bye. Let's hope there's less noise now. Hopefully what I said a moment ago was actually heard. If not, well, the point is that, I like to work this way because, it looks cleaner and, well, I don't know. I just like things to be clean. Anyway, Okay. Alright, now let's go down. A little more, a little more. Oh, okay. So here we're going to have two. These cables here. Here, you can't quite see the other one. We're going to have these. This one and this other small one over here. Oh, this is really easy, very simple. The blue with green goes with the blue with green. And this yellow, white, and green one goes with the one in the back. This one is black, blue, and red. So I always put them underneath because that's where they need to go. I prefer to use the rack up here rather than this bar here. We just put it like this. A zip tie. I'm going to use 2 zip ties. Oh no, that one goes. I can put. Okay, I'm going to put a zip tie here. Oh no. And I do the same thing all the way over here. I like to put it here on the welding, right where the corner of the base of the gasket is. And then we're going to have a bit of extra cable left over. Like a bit of the harness will be a little extra, so we're going to tidy it up. It looks like a mess here, but it'll turn out fine. It won't really show. Okay, so at this point, I like to do it this way. I don't use too much force because I don't want to damage the cables. So I carefully and precisely put my very first zip tie, the initial one, securely in place, and then I proceeded to meticulously put another one a bit further down the length of the object, ensuring it was also firmly fastened. And so that's how it should look. Now I'm going to cut. Let's go ahead and cut off the rest of the zip ties. So it looks cleaner. Hey, nice. And now it looks cleaner. You can barely even see it. It's not that noticeable. Well, I mean, you can see it if you look closely, right? But I like how it looks like this, and I'm going to put in a little gas and start it up, okay? Okay, so I already put some gas in the gas tank. You can see it here. There it is. Now let's see how it starts. Let's remember that. Again, the choke needs to be up. The choke. That one. And here, let's see how this works. To start it, you always have to press the yellow button and the brake. The brake is in the back on the left side, you know? Like this. And now, we press the brake and then the yellow button. Nice. Okay, so this black button here. Oh, the key doesn't cover it. This one here is for the lights. Let's see how it works. I think right now it doesn't turn on any lights or anything. This is the position where it's off. But wait just a second. There's nothing here. No lights. If we push this up, the lights turn on. If we push it down, we get both the upper and lower lights. Basically, that's how everything looks all together. So, I hope you like this video.
And well, this is the right way to assemble or build your own go-kart, okay?
Bye, goodbye.